Have you ever wondered which states in America have the whitest populations and why some might feel less welcoming to black people? In this video, we're diving into the top 10 whitest states. Counting down from 10 to 1, we'll explore their demographics, history, and cultural vibes that might make black folks feel out of place. Stick around till the end to see which state tops the list. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What's your take on these places? Let's get started with this eye-opening journey through America's whitest states. Number 10, Iowa. A Midwest gem, ranks 10th with about 89% white people, according to recent census data. Its rolling fields and small towns feel like a cozy storybook, but the lack of diversity can make black visitors stand out. Historically, Iowa's rural roots and limited immigration kept it mostly white, with European settlers shaping its culture. Some black travelers share stories of curious stares or awkward moments in smaller towns, where diversity is rare. While Iowa's friendly, its low black population, around 4%, means fewer cultural connections for black folks. Events like the Iowa State Fair celebrate local traditions, but they're often rooted in white, rural life. For black people, it might feel like stepping into someone else's story. Still, urban areas like Des Moines are slowly growing more diverse. Number 9, West Virginia. Nestled in the Appalachian Hills, is 9th with 95.8% white residents. Its history of Scots, Irish, and German settlers paints a picture of tight-knit, mostly white communities. The state's rugged beauty is undeniable, but its lack of diversity, only about 3% black, can feel isolating. Some black visitors describe feeling like outsiders in small towns, where cultural traditions lean heavily on white heritage. Historically, the state's coal mining past didn't draw many black migrants, unlike bigger cities. Rural areas might have subtle biases, like fewer welcomes or curious looks, making black folks feel less at home. While West Virginia's people are often kind, the lack of black culture or spaces can make it tough to connect. Urban spots like Charleston are more mixed, but the state's vibe remains distinctly white. Number 8, New Hampshire. Boasts a 92.3% white population. Picture quaint towns and snowy mountains, perfect for a cozy getaway. But for black people, this charm can feel distant. With only about 2% black residents, the state's history of English settlers shapes its culture. Black visitors sometimes share stories of feeling watched or out of place in rural areas, where diversity is scarce. The state's "Live Free or Die" motto reflects its independent spirit, but that vibe might not extend to everyone. Small towns often celebrate white New England traditions, leaving little room for black cultural spaces. Cities like Manchester are more diverse, but the overall feel can seem like a closed book to black folks. Still, New Hampshire's beauty is worth exploring with an open mind. Number 7, Vermont. Is 95.6% white, one of the highest in the U.S. Its rolling green hills and maple syrup farms feel like a postcard, but for black people, it can seem like a different world. With less than 2% black residents, Vermont's small towns are steeped in white, European heritage, think Irish and French roots. Black visitors sometimes feel like they stick out, with locals giving curious glances. The state's progressive vibe, known for things like craft beer and eco-living, often caters to white culture. Historically, its rural setting and lack of big cities limited diversity. While Vermont is friendly, the absence of black communities can make it feel isolating. Burlington's growing diversity offers some hope, but for now, it's a place where black folks might feel like guests. Number 6, Maine. Is over 93% white, making it one of America's whitest states. Its rocky coasts and lobster shacks scream New England charm, but for black people, it can feel like an unfamiliar tale. With just 2% black residents, Maine's culture is tied to its English and Irish settlers. Black visitors often notice they stand out in small towns, where people might stare or seem unsure how to connect. The state's history of limited immigration kept diversity low, and rural life centers on white traditions. While Portland is becoming more mixed, most of Maine feels like a story written for someone else. Locals are often kind, but the lack of black cultural spaces can make it hard to feel at home. Still, Maine's beauty is worth a visit. Number 5, South Dakota has an 83.9% white population according to recent census data. Its vast plains and towering Mount Rushmore create a stunning backdrop, but for black people, it can feel like stepping into someone else's story. With only about 2% black residents, the state's culture is deeply rooted in its white European settlers, mostly German and Norwegian. Black travelers often share tales of feeling like outsiders in small towns where diversity is rare. Historically, South Dakota's farming and ranching focus drew few black migrants, keeping communities mostly white. Local events like the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally celebrate rugged white traditions, which can feel distant for black visitors. While folks here are often warm and polite, the lack of black cultural spaces makes it hard to feel at home. Sioux Falls is slowly growing more diverse, but the state's vibe can still feel like a closed book to black folks. Number 4, North Dakota is 86.2% white, painting a picture of wide prairies and quiet towns. For black people, it can feel like a lonely chapter in a book not written for them. With just 3% black residents, the state's culture comes from Scandinavian and German settlers who shaped its rural life. Black visitors often notice curious stares or awkward moments in small towns where diversity is scarce. The state's history of harsh winters and oil booms didn't attract many black folks, keeping it mostly white. Traditions like local fairs focus on white heritage, leaving little room for black culture. While North Dakotans are generally kind, the lack of black communities can make it feel isolating. Fargo offers a bit more diversity, but the state's overall vibe can seem closed off to black visitors. Still, its open spaces and starry skies are a beauty worth exploring with an open heart. Number 3, Idaho is 85.3% white, with its mountains and potato fields telling a rugged tale. For black people, it might feel like walking into a story where they don't quite fit. With only about 1% black residents, Idaho's culture is tied to white settlers, mostly English and German. Black travelers often share stories of feeling out of place in small towns, where diversity is nearly absent. The state's rural history and limited immigration kept it predominantly white, with local events like county fairs celebrating white traditions. While Boise is slowly becoming more diverse, much of Idaho feels like a world apart for black folks. Locals are often friendly, but the lack of black cultural spaces can make connecting tough. Still, Idaho's natural beauty, think clear rivers and snowy peaks, calls to adventurers. For black visitors, it's a place to explore with patience and an open mind. Number 2, Wyoming is 91.2% white, with wide plains and a cowboy spirit that feels like a Western movie. For black people, it can seem like a tale where they're just passers-by. With less than 1% black residents, Wyoming's culture is rooted in white, European settlers, think ranchers and pioneers. Black visitors often feel like outsiders in small towns, where curious looks or quiet moments carry weight. The state's sparse population and ranching history kept diversity low, and traditions like rodeos center on white cowboy culture, leaving little space for black voices. While Wyomingites are often polite, the absence of black communities can make it hard to feel at home. Cheyenne and Casper have slight diversity, but the state's vibe often feels like a closed story. Yet, Wyoming's wild landscapes, snowy mountains, and open skies are breathtaking for anyone brave enough to explore its rugged, lonely beauty. Number 1, Montana. Our top state is 88.4% white, with big skies and mountains that steal your breath. For black people, it can feel like a lonely tale in someone else's book. With less than 1% black residents, Montana's culture is shaped by Scandinavian and German settlers who built its ranching and mining roots. Black visitors often share stories of feeling out of place in small towns where diversity is rare and stares are common. Local events like rodeos and county fairs celebrate white traditions, making black folks feel like outsiders. Historically, Montana's remote life didn't draw many black migrants, keeping it mostly white. While Montanans are often kind, the lack of black cultural spaces can feel isolating. Billings and Missoula are a bit more diverse, but Montana's story still feels written for someone else. Its wild, stunning beauty, though, is a call to all adventurers. That's our countdown of the top 10 whitest states where black people might feel less welcome. What do you think about these places? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.